Stay tuned for Education Today, starring Joan Zish. In this upcoming episode, we'll be talking about a facility master plan where architects went around to the secondary buildings of the ASD to see what needs to be done to them to keep them up to code. Sounds like a whale of an episode. Education Today starts now.
Welcome to Education Today. I'm John Zish from the Armstrong School District. Do you know a student who goes to school at any of the following buildings? Elderton Elementary, Elderton High School, Katanning Township Elementary, Ford City High School, Katanning Senior High School, West Shamokin High School, or Shannock Valley Elementary? Those are schools that architects have studied during the past 6 months to determine their future physical needs. And we'll be talking with those architects tonight. We'll also encourage you to come out to Armstrong School District's community meetings on several weeknights in February to learn more about the physical and educational needs of these 8 schools and offer your opinions. The meetings are February 7th, 12th, 20th, and 28th. It will be well worth your time as an Armstrong School District taxpayer. To talk more about this, we have Mr. Mark Folan, who's an architect working for Armstrong School District on the Facilities Master Plan study. Later on in the show, we'll be joined by School Board President Rose Stitz and Dr. Kerr, Superintendent of Schools. Welcome to the program, Mark, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Jonathan.
Would you please tell us briefly about yourself?
Yes, my name is Mark Folan, and I'm a registered architect with Hayes Large Architects. Our firm is one of the large firms in the state of Pennsylvania, and we've been in practice for 8 decades. And during that time period, we've specialized quite a bit in the educational planning, facility planning, as well as educational design for K through 12 public schools throughout the state of Pennsylvania.
Very good. Well, thank you for that overview. We are now at a point where your firm is ready to share the results of your school-by-school study, starting at the community meetings, which start on February 7th. But what did it take to get to this point? What was your process in studying the schools over the past 6 months?
Yes, it's quite an extensive process, as you can imagine. We began this approximately 6 months ago, and our primary goal is to assist school districts in determining the adequacy of their facilities. Any particular school district who is considering potential improvements to their buildings usually examine 3 primary questions. School districts like to know the conditions of the facilities of each building. School districts also like to know the adequacy of their capacity at each building and how that capacity relates to the current enrollment as well as the projected enrollment for each building.
Okay.
And then another primary consideration of the school district is to determine the educational programming, not only in today's standards, but also what might be projected in the future in order to always provide quality education to the students.
I see. Now, would you please sort of take us up to the current and the present day with how you started the project and what you studied along the way, and take us up to where we are now?
In order to answer all 3 particular questions that a school district may have, again, remembering educational adequacy, conditions of the facilities, and the enrollment and capacity analysis of each facility, we must utilize a full team to be able to assess each one of those critical issues. That team consists of following types of individuals: architects, of which I was on the team, along with other architects within our firm. It also consisted of representatives from each of our engineering disciplines: landscape architecture, site design, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, plumbing, and we also involved former educators. We have a department called Advise, and we utilize those educators to help determine the educational curriculum that's being offered at each particular building and whether or not those facilities are supporting the educational curriculum of the school district.
Okay. And then as you gathered those team members together to do the study, what were some of the milestones, the bigger highlights over the last 6 months?
The facilities assessment portion is quite an extensive process. it's very imperative that we take our full team to each building and analyze the various components of the building. For instance, we want to look at all the site conditions, determining whether or not the site is designed to accommodate vehicular circulation, bus circulation, parent drop-off and parent pickup, as well as pedestrian circulation. We also want to determine whether or not the conditions of those facilities are in appropriate condition, or whether or not there might be needed improvements. Similarly, we take that same type of assessment process into each building. We look at the exterior components of the building, such as the exterior windows, doors, the roof, determining the useful life of those existing components. And then we go into each building and look at the various internal components, such as the flooring, the finishes of the ceiling, the compliance with the existing building codes, as well as compliance with ADA, or the Americans with Disabilities Act. We also evaluate each common space within the building, as well as all of the program spaces. Program spaces meaning the classrooms, the laboratories, the tech ed facilities, the industrial arts facilities, the physical education facilities. So the process that we utilize is a full team, and we want to cover every aspect of the building, externally as well as internally, so that we can provide a very reliable document to the school district, providing a good summarization of the conditions of each one of those components for that facility.
Okay. Mark, are there any other components of the assessment that you'd like to highlight?
Yes. The facilities assessment portion of the study is one component, but equally important to that is understanding the capacity of each building and how that relates to the current and projected enrollment. So we did take that into consideration when we evaluated the facilities and determined whether or not adequate number of classrooms are provided, and whether or not adequate number of other instructional spaces are provided in each building. The third component is the educational adequacy of each facility, and whether or not that particular building serves the educational program that has been put in place successfully by Armstrong School District.
Very good, Mark. Well, with all that work in hand, you were then able to present basically a PowerPoint presentation to the school board on January 29th. And I was wondering if you'd please walk us through that.
Yes. On January 29th, we had the opportunity to provide the first presentation to the school board. And our agenda for that evening was to identify the primary questions that the study must answer if the study is going to be successful. We also wanted to look at the master plan methodology that our firm utilized in order to develop this study. We discussed with the school board the enrollment data that we have. There was a study that was produced for the district, and we evaluated that enrollment data to determine whether or not it was still applicable to the district's conditions. And then, of course, we went through each building. There were 8 buildings studied in this process, and we identified the various conditions of each component of the building and described some of the costs that were applicable to potential improvements for each of those conditions. And then we also looked at further projections of what the school district might want to undertake in the event that it would want to consider a PlanCon reimbursable project.
Okay. And since we're talking about the buildings and the 8 buildings that you studied, would you please give us some background about each of those 8 schools?
Yes. I'd like to share with you just some dates of when those buildings were originally constructed.
Thank you.
And approximate sizes of each building. Elderton Elementary School was constructed in 1955. Additions were put onto the building in the 1980s. The total square feet of that building is 36,000 square feet. Katanning Township Elementary School was originally constructed in 1954. There were additions in 1972, and that building consists of 40,000 square feet. Shannock Valley Elementary School was constructed in 1963. Additions were applied in 1972, and the total area of that building is 57,800 square feet.
Okay.
Elderton Senior High School was originally constructed in 1955. Additions were applied in 1960, and the total square feet of that building is 94,000 square feet. Ford City Senior High School was originally constructed in 1908. Additions were applied in 1957, and the total area of that building is 130,122 square feet. Katanning Junior High School was originally constructed in 1919. Additions were added in 1985, and the total area of the building is 88,000 square feet. Katanning Senior High School was originally constructed in 1955. Additions were applied in 1984, and that building's area is 105,700 square feet. And then West Shamokin Senior High School is the newest building in the district. That was constructed in the year 2000. The total area of the building is 121,800 square feet.
Sure. Well, thank you for those figures. Now, with all of this in mind, how can the school district best use the information contained in the study?
That's a very good question. The study actually enables the school district to have a reliable document from which they can move forward. And we like to look at a 5-year plan. In other words, we address within the study potential improvements for each building that might be needed within the next 5 years. We call those level 1 priority costs. Basically, those costs represent improvements that might be needed to bring the building into compliance with existing building codes. There are also improvements that may be needed, or perhaps those components of the building may fail. An example of that would be a leaking roof. Certainly we want to see that that roof is repaired, patched, to prevent those types of leaks. We also look at the components and the useful life of those components. So if that component has less than a 5 years useful life, then that's identified in a level 1 priority cost. A second component in the improvement analysis are what we call level 2 costs. Those costs typically represent a planned con reimbursable project for renovation only. So if the school district wanted to renovate the building, bring it into compliance with today's current codes, also bring it into compliance with the Americans with Disabilities Act, improve the infrastructure of the building, which would include mechanical systems, electrical systems, plumbing systems, as well as interior and exterior improvements that would be general construction improvements, then those costs are identified as the level 2 priority. The third component, basically what we call level 3 priority costs, include the level 2 cost, but also there are additional improvements that are stipulated in order to bring the building into compliance with the educational program that we discussed previously. Furthermore, the level 3 improvement costs are also intended to address any of the capacity needs that might be identified at that particular building.
Very good. Basically, Mark, I'd like to thank you for being on the show. Is there anything else you'd like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
Jonathan, I do want to thank you for inviting me to be here today. I want to thank the Armstrong School District. This has been a very exciting process. As we had said earlier, it's a 6-month process to actually produce this master plan. And it's a fun time right now because we're able to share with you those results that we've learned from the study. And hopefully we're providing to the school district very reliable information from which they can utilize and also develop future improvements going forward in the district with the intent of always serving the needs of the students.
Oh, yes. Well, we definitely appreciate the work that you've done to make this study available, and we appreciate your time here on Education Today.
Thank you very much, John.
Yes. We're going to take a short break. When we get back, we'll talk with Board President Rose Stitz and Superintendent Dr. Kerr. This is Armstrong School District's Education Today.
Indiana University of Pennsylvania. Learn lessons from the past and apply them to the future. Think critically. Write analytically. Question. Scrutinize. Question again. Society is your laboratory. Humanities and social sciences at IUP. Quality. Affordability. Excellence. Indiana University of Pennsylvania. The perfect fit.
Welcome back to Armstrong School District's Education Today. Our topic is the Facilities Master Plan and the upcoming community meetings, which start Wednesday, February 7th. We're now joined by Mrs. Rose Stitz, who is President of the Armstrong School District Board of Directors, and Dr. William Kerr, Superintendent of Schools. Welcome.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Well, Mrs. Stitt, I was wondering if we could start with you, and if you please tell us a little bit about why it's crucial for the public to come to these community meetings.
Well, I feel that it's very crucial. The decisions that the board will be making in the future will be affecting everyone in our school district, whether you have children in our schools or not. It's very important. The board has a lot of tough decisions to make. We have a lot of information to look at, and public opinion would be very helpful to us in making these decisions. Our children should always be put first, of course, but we also need to be fiscally responsible, and so I know that the board would appreciate hearing anything that the public would like to add.
Indeed. Dr. Kerr, if we could turn to you for a moment, I was wondering if you'd please tell us about how this is a crucial decision for the school district.
Well, I think to build upon what Ms. Stitt has said, it is important for our students. We always want to keep our students in mind. And I believe when it comes to our school facilities, although they've been very well maintained and cleaned and cared for, we believe that our students deserve better. And so when you take a look at any construction project or renovation in terms of additions and so forth, you always want to upgrade the facilities and planning for the future. The reimbursement for these projects, if they are in fact planned projects and approved, would certainly be in the planning stages and implementation for a 20-year period. And so we want to do it right. And we are at a crossroads in terms of wanting to do best, and willing to do what is best for our students in terms of facilities and educational programs. Any program should be curriculum driven. And from that perspective, it's my hope that we'll take a very close look at that.
Mrs. Stitt, I understand the board has a very difficult decision to make. What types of information will you be using in making that decision?
Well, the board will look at any information that we possibly can in order to make the best decision. We will definitely be looking at the input that the architects have been provided to us. We will be looking at the study that they have given us and going over the paperwork as much as possible. We will speak with administration. We will be at public meetings speaking, and we definitely want to hear from the community to get their ideas. We will be considering a lot of different factors. It's not a cut and dry decision as far as our district. We have a lot of buildings to look at. We have a large geographical area. We want to look definitely at our children's needs, what is best for them. Yet at the same time, we need to address our buildings, and we need to be fiscally responsible for our taxpayers. So it is a difficult decision that we will be facing, and there are a lot of factors that take into this, and any information we can get is very important, and that's why I can't stress enough that I would very much, and the board as a whole would very much appreciate to have the public attend our meetings.
Indeed. It won't be an easy decision, and we certainly appreciate the work of the school board. I know people out in the public know that January was School Director Recognition Month. These are citizen volunteers getting no compensation and putting a lot of time into it, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that either of you would like to add for the benefit of our viewers?
I would like to thank Hayes Large as our architectural firm and members of our board and administration. It's been a long process, a comprehensive process to get to this point of the community meetings. And to reemphasize, it is important that we have public input. We're hoping to strike a balance between what is best educationally for students as well as what is fiscally responsible for our taxpayers. When you take a look at the various levels that will be considered by the board, there are varying needs in each of our buildings. Everything from mechanical, electrical, plumbing needs, as well as some site development corrections that we need to make in terms of safety of our schools. As you know, we're in the 21st century, and we want to plan for classrooms of the future and schools of the future that will best serve our students. And so we have some difficult, tough choices to make because those plans that will be reviewed with the public really serve as a blueprint for the future.
Indeed. Well, I'd like to thank both of you for being on the program, Mrs. Stitt, Dr. Kerr. Appreciate all of your leadership. I would like to add one thing. If you like, you can request a video copy of the architect's presentation to the school board as early as February 9th, 2007. Here are the details. Please send $5 payable to Armstrong School District, along with your name, address, and a note requesting video of architect's presentation. Specify whether you want VHS or DVD. The $5 cost covers postage, copying, and other fees. Please send that to Armstrong School District, care of Jonathan Zish, 410 Main Street, Ford City, 16226. However, this video is no substitute for going to one of the community meetings. You actually have to be there to truly be a part of the public process. And I would like to remind you that if you live in the Armstrong School District, you probably received the newsletter that comes from the district. It announces this in our front page article, and I would like to remind you that the public meetings are at Katanning Senior High School in the auditorium starting on Wednesday, February 7th. The next one after that is at Ford City Junior Senior High School in the auditorium on Monday, February 12th. At West Shamokin Junior Senior High School in the auditorium, the meeting is at Tuesday on February 20th. And lastly, at Elderton Junior Senior High School in the gymnasium, the meeting is Wednesday, February 28th. All four of those meetings will be from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. So we really do encourage you as the public to come out and see and be a part of this process. We need your input. Well, that's our show for today. I'd like to extend a special thanks to all our guests today. Mark Folan, Board President Rose Stitt, and Dr. Kerr, Superintendent of Schools. I'd also like to thank the TV students of Ford City High School, led by Mrs. Barbara Keller. They were our film crew today. Please join us again for another look at the Armstrong School District next week. Visit our website for updated news about the district, and have a great week.
Hello, I'm Noah Fleming from Ford City High School, and this is what's going on around the Armstrong School District. Armstrong School District has scheduled 4 community meetings to present findings from a comprehensive architectural and engineering facility study of 8 schools and their physical needs for the future. The public meetings begin Wednesday, February 7th. The district encourages people to attend, learn, and offer their opinions. There's one meeting in each of our 4 attendance areas of the school district. Residents can go to any of the meetings from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. according to the following schedule. Katanning Senior High School Auditorium, Wednesday, February 7th. Ford City Junior Senior High School Auditorium, Monday, February 12th. West Shamokin Junior Senior High School Auditorium, Tuesday, February 20th. And Elderton Junior Senior High School Gym, Wednesday, February 28th. Since July, architects hired by Armstrong School Districts have analyzed project student enrollment, reviewed each school's student capacity as it relates to educational programming, and identified the improvements each building will need to be educationally and physically sound for the future. The architects studied these schools, Elderton Elementary and Elderton Junior Senior High School, both located in the same campus, Katanning Township Elementary School, Ford City Junior Senior High School, Katanning Senior High School, Katanning Junior High School, West Shamokin Junior Senior High School, and Shannock Valley Elementary School. The decisions that the board will make in the future regarding school facilities will be the highest priority in the coming months, according to Superintendent William Kerr. Cost estimates to building projects could be presented publicly in April 2007, with another set of community meetings scheduled for that month. A final architect's report to the school board is scheduled for June 2007. Well, that's all for now. I'm Noah Fleming from Ford City High School. Keep watching.